Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talks One podcast. First of all, a very happy new year to all of you. Thanks for being audience of this channel. We have completed about roughly 2 years since we started way back in early 2023. So it has been a long journey, but very exciting one. And over the last 2 years, we have seen the development in machine learning and AI. So today's discussion will focus on its impacts on our life, and I'll make some predictions what we would see within this decade until 2030. So let's get started to and you can check out some of the other podcasts that we have made with respect to AI, ML, nuts and bolts of AI, etc. If you need to get some more understanding of what it is. So this discussion would focus on its impacts. I'm not going to define what AI and ML and all those things are. I'll encourage you to go check it out, check out the other videos that I have already posted earlier. So we have seen the development of generative AI and AI in particular for the last 2 years specifically, and with the Chat GPT, LLMs, and jumping of all the major cloud providers, be it AWS, Azure, GCP, etc. Uh, of course, we cannot forget OpenAI, which is the one which basically made Chat GPT and made it available for general public. That in the past 2 years, what has happened is that these generative AI solutions have perforated multiple different industries. Of course, tech was the first one that got the major impact, where people started using it to generate code, summarizing documentation, and things along those lines. Soon enough, it started picking up in related industries such as finance, retail, and medicine, law, and things along those lines. Now we have reached a point where people have shifted their focus from bare generative AI models to agentic models. So basically people are looking towards moving towards agents like generative AI agents that is not only going to search for you or give you question answers, but they are actually going to operate on your behalf, solving problems that companies and enterprises face. So to that end, you can also see. In fact, I have also coined a term of AGACP. I have been working upon this whole of last year, and we came out with an initial concept around that. But if you see the industry, many companies have started doing the same thing now. So Salesforce has been coming out with their own agentic AI. Microsoft is doing the same. In fact, OpenAI also seems to be shifting towards that direction, and even Google Gemini is also kind of coming out with their own agent framework as well. So it seems that the trend now is moving towards agents that are focused on doing the work. Now, what is this work that they are going to do? Question is this: so if you look pretty like seriously as to what work they are going to do, some of the examples that are being quoted, that let's say you are trying to search for a flight that goes to a given destination with couple of parameters around. This is the budget that I have, this is the amount of time I am looking forward to. Given these constraints, can you basically find me a flight? An agent not only would it basically search the flight based upon your parameters, but it will go ahead and book the flight, make the payment, and get the job done. Now you understand what it is doing for you. Because if it is able to do all these different steps, that means you have basically removed the agent, like the uh, you know your admin or any person that you would have used to book this flight. Technically you could have done it by yourself as well through a self-service portal, which is what all the online travel agency portals offer. But let's say if you are a busy executive and you want to outsource this work to somebody else, all you tell them is, hey, I'm going to this place, this is my budget, go book me a flight. Some person will do this work for you, right? Now this is being replaced by completely by the agent. So you will think that, well, this is a very low cognitive work, right? What is the big deal in doing this? The problem is this: it is going to start with these low cognitive load works, but it will soon capture the work that are much more complicated. Now, let me give another example. in a, let's say, a back office call center back in, let's say, Philippines or in India or any other low cost country, where these BPOs or KPOs as they call it work. Let's say the work that needs to be done is to research a particular case, right? There is a legal lawsuit that is to be filed, and they want to review all the particular regulation, all the previous judgments that were is related with these courts, and they want to build a, like a summary, like how strong this case is, what are the key tenets of this case, and things along those lines. Back in the day, there would be a team of, let's say, associates who are backed with the legal degrees, who would review this case. They'll conduct certain searches to find out what are the similar cases like this. Then they'll prepare like a report with summarizing it, etc. Now, group of AI agents, or as we are saying, generative AI agents, can not only basically conduct the search on your behalf, they can collate all the information out there, then they can summarize it, and then they can actually generate a report for you. All of these steps would be taken care of without involving any human being. What has happened in this case? In this case, you have completely eliminated the third party BPO or KPO, or all the lawyers or associates that were basically being used to deliver this kind of a report. Let me give another example. uh, Back in the day, a lot of companies, including government organizations, political organizations, enterprises, used to leverage strategic consulting firms, management consulting firms, to define strategy for them. Let's say if they're wanting to enter a new market, or they want to improve the operational efficiencies of their business, or they want to do a merger and acquisition, so they will bring in these management consultants such as McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Deloitte, and other kind of strategy, AT Canary, and things along those lines. They will bring these consultants to investigate what is going on and show them the path forward. Now, assume a scenario whereby, again, an agent comes into the picture. This agent is not only able to assess the current whereabouts of this given organization, it can go through all the compliance and the regulations that are available in their industry. It can actually match what the competition is doing in this industry, and actually come out with a strategy that can be applied given the scenario. Again, all of these steps can be done without the intervention of a human being, and finally produce a, like a PowerPoint presentation to be presented to the executives to see that this is the strategy that we have come out with. What I just described is actually pretty complicated, right? So, doing the research, doing analysis of what competitors are doing, like summarizing what the regulation is, these are still reasonably like moderate to low cognitive load work. But combining all of them, integrating and coming out with a strategy is extremely, you need a lot of synthesis, you need a lot of analysis, and it requires a lot of erstwhile knowledge to come out with a unique strategy here. That's very, very complicated part. So maybe that part would be remaining, but all the underlying work, that is like searching your competitors, reviewing the compliance and regulation, doing a due diligence of all the documentation that the company has, and collating all this data into one kind of data repository. These steps would earlier be done by junior associates, maybe two or three people who actually work along those lines. Even if you can eliminate all those people and replace them with the agent to do those things, one, the agent will be very efficient because they can do this in the matter of like minutes. It's not going to take like couple of weeks or couple of days, but we're talking about in the matter of minutes. And the only job remaining would be, now given all the analysis and everything has been done and presented, the data has been presented, now some experts can come in and basically formulate a strategy out of it. I mean, I'll not be afraid to say that in few years of time, the timeline of 2030, generative AI agent can also produce a strategy as well. Now, question could be how good that strategy could be, how relevant that strategy is. That could be definitely questionable, but at a rudimentary level, it can at least give you two or three strategies, and you can pick and choose. So that itself will be a very big win if it's able to produce let's say, three or four strategies and showcases to you as an executive, and then you have a choice to go and pick up like which of these strategies makes sense, or do you want to come out with a hybrid strategy, or do you want to reject all of these strategies and come out with a completely new strategy that you will go forward to. But I think in the next 1 or 2 years we should be able to arrive at a stage wherein even the strategy part also recommendation can directly be given by these agents. Now think if you are able to do that, I mean, some of the tasks that I talked about, like if I divide it into, see, everything that I'm talking about has to be divided into small tasks, and that is why the framework that I produced earlier, which is AGACP, focuses on this work breakdown structure. That's the way human brains works, right? Think about it, like researching your competition, analysis, due diligence of the all the documentation that the company already has, going ahead with the regulation and any kind of compliance that is available in your industry. All these works can be done today. So agents can do this work today. Then you can bring all these three agents together to summarize all the work and like store all the with the links, references of where did you find this work, what was the thought process behind this, all into one unified repository. And once that repository is built, then the expert can basically build a strategy on top of that. So I'm saying that many of these management consulting and strategy consulting firms are already seeing this happen. In fact, a lot of their associates are already using things like Chat GPT and other kind of LLMs to actually help them basically conduct these initial research, as they call it, or due diligence or deep dive. Assume that tomorrow if agents are able to do this completely, you don't need these junior agents and things like that for doing this heavy lifting. All you need is just to build the strategy, or say yay or nay on the strategy side as well, right? How big level of mass layoffs you can imagine that can happen? All the examples that I gave you, so I gave you an example of law, I gave you an example of like basic ticket booking, I gave you the example of building a strategy for a company. These are all various varying, cognitive load examples, and in all of them, you can see there is a place for basically an LLM or an agent. Let me read a comment by Akshat Rastogi. Looks like we are heading towards hyper productivity, but what's the end goal of all this? Should humans have enough time for recreation, or is it wealth transfer to top of the chain? That's a very good question. I definitely believe that as it is, as we speak, there is a tremendous boost of productivity that is going to happen for the individuals. But we are at a stage where only people who are intelligent can leverage these tools to basically improve the productivity. If you lack knowledge or if you're not that intelligent, then you cannot use these tools. So these tools have not reached a stage whereby they can work with autonomously without your input or your hand picking, and completely do the task end to end. So currently as it stands, you need to interact with it very heavily, either through prompting or validating the results that they are coming in. So you cannot depend upon them completely autonomously. But I'm saying over a period of time in the next few years, like target is 2030, that's what the topic's title is. My belief is that a lot of these tasks will be completely done fully automatically, that these agents will be able to do it independent of the human beings involved, and majority of these tasks can be done independently. At that point of time, even like people who are not that intelligent or understand the subject very well can just be there to oversee the things if something haywire has to happen. Otherwise they can actually give the complete decision making to the system itself. So that can happen, I think, in the next couple of years. My target is by 2030, we should already have robust systems that already do that. But when this thing happens, there should be mass layoffs of people from all kind of industries, whether it is medicine, whether it is law, any industry that heavily focuses on, text, data analysis, synthesis, and that depends upon searching of knowledge, searching of patterns, etc., will get disrupted very very heavily. As I said, many of these BPOs and KPOs, etc., spend a lot of time in just researching and producing reports. Many of these management consulting firms also do the same, like you have seen like Gartner reports and AD Nielsen reports and things along those lines. Most of them interact basically focus on data. Data could be a variety of things like economic data, demographic data, political data, and things along those lines. But fact of the matter is, all these companies heavily focus on data. They apply some of the patterns and frameworks that they have built over a period of time to produce some insights and generate reports. That work can now be done through agents. Right now, as we speak, people are using them in bits and pieces. Nobody is doing it in a fully automated way because the generated output cannot be fully kind of trusted, because again, as we said, there are tons of hallucinations and problems that are there in generative AI tools, right? So that answer we still don't have, like how do we fix them. But if you employ a lot of guardrails, you validate the outputs and things along those lines, then you can get a very high quality output. That is why my emphasis is only people who are intelligent, knowledgeable in this domain should be using these tools, because as I said, they can give you incorrect answers. So, having said that, I think as we move towards a situation whereby a lot of this white collar jobs, this knowledge jobs and knowledge industry is going to get impacted, and we already know about coding, right? A lot of people I know, including myself, to code are using these generative AI tools. Go by like whichever generative AI tool. Some say claim one is better than other, etc. But again, whichever you are comfortable in, you should use that, and people are using them to generate code. And over a period of time, these tools are only going to get better. They started out as like autocomplete and things along those lines, but now just you imagine like an architecture and a system in your mind. You prompt it and it starts generating it, and you continuously iterate it, like so it's like iterative development, right, where you have to continuously ask it to fix it, or like, can you do this, can you add this, can you do this. Like if you keep doing that, then you can get a very good output. And again, the point here is you should know coding, you should understand your domain, and you have to be intelligent to use those tools, right? You cannot use them in a completely blind, like automated fashion. But I'm saying, as you know, time passes by, these tools will become even more better over a period of time. Meaning, even with small prompts and small queries, they'll be able to produce much better quality of code as we move forward. So you understand, people who are at entry level or who are not that intelligent, or people who are order followers who just follow a given protocol, will find direct competition with these agents. So again, we are looking at mass layoffs. So in 2025, this will become a like prominent theme across the world, where people will start getting competition through these AI agents. So now we are competing with the agents directly, because agents can be spun off as much as you want. They don't have to sleep or drink or anything. They can work 24 by 7. They'll start hitting low cognitive load workloads, right? As I said, there are various kind of cognitive ability required to pursue different tasks, right? So booking a ticket, or doing a shopping, or placing an order are low cognitive task items, right? As long as you can call certain APIs, you can do basic search and things like that, and as long as you can follow a particular protocol, these things can be done, right? These things can be done today by the agents, and many companies are showcasing them in their examples. Back in the day, even Alexa, if you have Amazon Alexa or Echo Dot at your home, you would see even Amazon has integrated buying from it, so you can order Alexa to basically shop on Amazon on your behalf. Like, I mean, I have never done that. I don't know how good it is or not, but I can imagine that you can make it pretty general purpose as well, like shop anywhere, not only just limited to Amazon. You can shop over wherever. You can book tickets. Basically, you can make it very, very general purpose, right? It's a, like a agent, like which basically communicates through voice with you. So those things can be done today. Like we already have the technology in place wherein you can converse with it on the voice, and basically, as long as you integrate your like a credit card or whatever your payment instrument type is, it can basically order anywhere in the world, any website, wherever you want to use, as long as it is integrated with this Alexa or any kind of Nest devices that people have in their homes. So it will start with like eliminating the low cognitive task jobs fully, because these things can be fully automated, and slowly its complexity will rise. So first it will go after the low cognitive tasks, then it will go after the medium cognitive tasks, and then it is going to basically start like perching into the high cognitive tasks. So the medium to high cognitive tasks are the one where I think in the next 5 years, towards the end of this decade, targeting 2030, that's where it is going to start entering the realm, and that is where it will start becoming very very interesting. Once that starts happening, that means even the intelligent people now have to spend their time in other areas, as you know Akshat asked in the previous question, that they will have to start thinking about like where do they spend their time. I think the focus should have been, has to be shifted towards creativity, intuition, innovation. That those are the areas. I don't think any of the existing tools are either built towards that, or even are capable of doing that, like doing a breathtaking like research, or coming out with something which is very very intuitive. Because fundamentally all these tools are based upon the past. They understand the patterns that are there and try to apply those patterns to the new input that comes in. Whereas intuition, innovation may not necessarily just be born out of the past. It can also come out with a completely new idea that comes to your mind, or what you see outside that you have never seen, and come out with a completely innovative concept. So I think those will be the realms where human beings will demonstrate higher level of expertise. But lot of these low cognitive tasks has to be automated, and they will be automated. So people who are incapable of building like medium level cognitive ability, or like expert level cognitive ability, will have a very tough time finding jobs as we basically start moving forward. So I think universal basic income was a concept that was introduced several years ago. uh, Governments across the world will have to come out with this basic living standard income to all the people that are there, so that we don't come to an anarchy where like people start revolting and fighting on the streets and things like that. So you will have to take care of that, while the top level people started focusing on like more innovation and conservation. How do you protect the environment and things along those lines, and build focus on like things along the lines of like communication, empathy, feelings between different people. Those things will become extremely valuable, which will be very very difficult for the agents to replicate. Let me read another question from Sachin Sarvase. In these fields, AI is very much required to handle big data. You are right. So we are talking about mostly around the generative AI, the development that has happened in the past 2 years. And as I described through some of the examples, that how these agents can basically take on these massive tasks that we have built big industries around, BPO, KPOs, who only do analysis, data analysis, building reports and things like that, or doing certain activities which are requiring actions such as booking a ticket, ordering food, uh, booking movie tickets, like air tickets, booking holidays, planning your holiday, and things along those lines. All of these things can be done by a agent, right? As we speak today, it can be done now. Um, as we go forward, right, as we have seen, now agents are being used to run marketing campaigns, email campaigns. More and more companies and industries will start adopting them, where complete automation would happen for advertising technology, performance marketing, which are pervasive across multiple domains, right? So all startups, big tech companies, etc., already do those things, and these can be now handled through agents. So there is a shift in the software stack is also going to happen. Since this agent is a more kind of a newer concept, it is making AI more actionable as we look forward to this decade, next 5 years. We would start seeing that many companies will start leveraging these agents to basically deliver the work, which will again mean that lot of undifferentiated heavy lifting that is done by entry level or junior level engineers is no longer going to be required, because now this can be completely done by the agents, like data preparation, data quality, testing of the systems, etc., can be now done with the agents. Similarly, a lot of these admin jobs used to be there, wherein uh, you have to set up meetings, then maybe sending a memo, etc. Secretarial job. Again, the agents can be. So, I mean, I see a lot of systems right now, wherein whenever you are hosting a meeting, it can automatically start transcribing whatever is being discussed in this meeting, and it will publish those notes as a part of a mail and send it to everybody that whosoever attended this meeting, these were the topics that were covered in the meeting. These were the highlights. These were the lowlights, and it will also transcribe each and every word that was spoken in the meeting. So this thing we can do now. There are already apps that I have used in several meetings. I think Otter.ai is one. There are a couple of others as well, wherein any meeting that you do online, it will immediately transcribe everything that is there in the meeting. It will also record the meeting, so you will have the video, audio as well. You'll have written text as well, and then it can do an analysis on top of that to generate like the summary, highlight, low light, etc., key important points, etc. So earlier you used to have secretaries, or people used to have to remember like, okay, what was discussed in the meeting, let me generate a email and send a status update. Now it is done automatically, right? Think how beneficial this will be in an interview where you have to provide feedback for the candidate. What were the questions did you ask, how did the candidate respond, etc. Now if you already have this kind of a tool that can basically take notes of everything that you have discussed, it also summarizes like what was the question asked, what was the answer given, etc. Then you don't have to provide the feedback, or you can just go through whatever documentation has been produced, and you can just edit it if you agree, don't agree, and just provide final yes or no answer, right? Only that is required. So this is a lot of productivity help, and it is helping in various different areas. I have also used such kind of applications. It's a tremendous help because you can refer back to those notes, you can refer back to those video calls that have happened. And even in the YouTube, you see, whenever I post these videos, it can do auto translation. So right now I'm speaking in English, and you can translate this into anything: Hindi, Punjabi, Russian, Portuguese, whatever you want, right? So YouTube already gives you the option to do an auto translation. Right now it's not of a very high quality, I would say, but given that you can do that instantaneously, that my video is now available in, I don't know, like hundreds of different languages at a click of a button, it's a very good productivity improvement, because now my reach can be much beyond just English and Hindi audience, but to a majority of the people who may not understand the language that I am speaking right now. So that can happen like right now as we speak, right? So think about it. Now it has completely eliminated the transcription services. There used to be call centers whose job used to convert English into French or Japanese or Korean and things like that. Now you don't need that. You can do it like on the fly. Of course, the quality is not so high, but I am assuming that as we go further, the quality will continue to keep improving over a period of time. Let me India looks like 1000 year behind when we see what is going on in US. You are absolutely right, and it's like kind of a irony because TCS, Wipro, Infosys, HCL, these companies 30 years ago used to be pioneers of global outsourcing, right? They were the startups of 30, 40 years ago, and they brought in the much needed jobs to Indian market, where they used to go to all the engineering colleges to do mass hiring. And thanks to them, it created a like a back office industry in India. A lot of BPOs opened up in India and rest of the Southeast Asia as well. And complete ITES, as they call it. NASCOM was also built, I think 20, 25 years ago, to help support these kind of companies. So I think at that time they did innovation. India had huge pool of talent. They trained them, and then they started sending them to client location in the US and Europe and everywhere else. I think that model worked really well for the past, I'll say, maybe 20 years, up until like before like COVID time and all. I think almost till like 2014, 15ish, these companies were doing fine. But as cloud started taking the center stage, these companies revenue started kind of faltering. Back in the day, I remember these companies used to make double digits, like profits. So they used to sometimes make like 20, 25% this kind of profits, right? Soon enough, as the cloud revolution took place, their profitability started reducing. Now many of these companies only make single digit profits, actually like 8%, 9%, or 12, 13, 15%, something like that. So a shift has already happened, right? And right now, many of these legacy companies are not able to pivot because the trend has completely changed. Because you see so many startups in India, whether it is Flipkart or Ola or Misho, Zomato, and things like that, right? What are they doing? They're not doing anything special. It's a basic software which even these companies, Infosys, TCS, can also build. Like any software stack they can use, like use Magento, you know, and then Java, Spring, or use PHP to build such kind of websites. In fact, many of these consultants are hired by Amazons and Yahoos and Googles of the world to do exactly the same thing what these startups are doing, right? So they could have done that, but they never did. Their mentality is to build a customer, not build products, and that's where the differentiation is. Startups came along, they built these startups, raised funding, and they created a whole new industry in India which never even existed. Like 15 years ago, nobody would have thought that there will be India-based startups which will be valued in billions of dollars and who will generate so much of employment in India and create a completely new industry. Nobody would have imagined that can happen, which is what has happened in the past 10 to 15 years. And all of these which companies completely missed the boat. They kept on leaning on their past laurels that they created this outsourcing industry. They did not see the shift in the cloud computing that happened. They did not see the shift into startups that are happening, and neither they are able to see the shifts in the AI and robotics what is happening as we see right now. They're trying to do a lot of AI projects and all, but they're not trying to build their own focus. So their focus is always to bill it to others, like, or will look for clients where they can sell these things rather than building their own products. So that's just missing in their thought process. So major overall is needed, otherwise these companies will continue to lose business and over a period of time basically have very big difficulty in even surviving. So that part is completely true. And we talked about knowledge industry and AI. Now I need to shift gears towards robotics. So there is this additional field. So a lot of people talk about AI can take away software jobs, knowledge economy jobs, basically jobs that require data and all, but do not have any physical component to it. Right? That's the thought process. Guess what? Even the physical jobs that are like labor intensive job, which right now doesn't seem to be at threat. I'll give you specific examples and you can see even they are at threat actually. So let's talk about autonomous driving, right? So in the US and even in the China, there are companies who have built completely autonomous vehicles. So you have autonomous drones which can fly in the air and can basically do all the work, etc. Travel, and experimentations are already being done that can you do deliveries through these autonomous drones from delivery center to the client's home as well. So that's happening. Walmart itself is doing an experiment to see if they can do that in certain areas. Then you have concept of robo taxis. So already in San Francisco, there are self-driving taxis that are there, which will come pick you up and drop you at the location that you want. And San Francisco is a pretty busy, city. It's not like completely open and things like that. Already there are companies who do autonomous trucks. So on the highways, in interstate, where you have to do big logistic transfer, there are companies which are running their autonomous trucks that are driving. So driving on a highway is a lot more easier because the traffic is much more streamlined. There is not much interference from on incoming traffic or merging in a city and things like that. So they're already doing that in the US. And even in China, they're investing very heavily in robotics and autonomous vehicles. So they have autonomous drones. In fact, in the drone technology, China seems to be even at least two times ahead of US. And even in robotics, they are already investing quite a bit of amount of money in that. Let me read a comment from Slam. How can PM roles do to pivot towards robotic automation or AI related jobs? I know certificates are just a start, but how to build a long term profile for such changes? There are a couple of podcasts that I have already made. You can please review them. especially around product managers and project managers. And I'll try to answer that also as we speak through it. But let me first concentrate on the robotics and the automation that I was talking about. So I have seen that in China, the robotics has gone into the next level already. In fact, even US is behind. So you might have seen the example of Boston Dynamics. It's a company which shows very famous ads where the robots are dancing, actually jumping or even fighting between each other. You can check it out. It's Boston Dynamics, right? So there are multiple other companies that are investing in robotics, and the idea is that even the physical labor job should be able to be done by a robot. So now you see there are a couple of restaurants that have removed the chefs and the robots do the cooking for them. So even these things have started happening, and even in China, even in a lot of Southeast Asian countries including Japan, Korea, you have specific restaurants where they will put a like a mirror, and behind them there will be robotic arms which will be the preparing your the sushi or omelette or like noodles or whatever that you say, and it is being done completely by robotic arm itself. So those changes have started happening. So now you can understand, you're eliminating the cooks or the chefs, you are eliminating the drivers because of like the autonomous driving and drones, and now nobody's even managing those drones because it is completely automatic. Just the computer software manages those drone, like where to drop, etc., through computer vision, because they can take the video, audio, and things along those lines to monitor like how the given subject is performing. Similarly, computer vision is being used in autonomous driving because you have to see the different angles, what are the other vehicles coming in, what are the environmental parameters and things like that. So computer vision is nothing but again an applied AI area where you use video, audio, in addition to text and data to make decisions and things along those lines, right? So computer vision is being heavily used in these driving, autonomous uh, drones. Even the similar thing is happening under the water as well. So you can send underwater probes, or submarines which are completely autonomous. You can go and do investigation about like if there were any kind of wreckages, or if there are undersea like volcanoes or any seismic activity that you see out there. So people are already doing that, right? And many of these things happen completely autonomous. And they also have robotic arms where they can collect the samples of the a rock, or like pick up certain animals, etc., conduct their photographs, collect samples, bring them on board, and no human being is involved in the whole process. They can do this completely in an autonomous fashion. Similarly, if you see the space probes that we have, they are also completely functioning in an autonomous fashion, right? They continue. So in fact, if you see uh, the newer space probes that are going to, let's say, Mars, or even trying to go towards Sun, or even to the Moon, they have capabilities whereby the rovers that they have, they can completely like go on the Moon. They can collect samples of the Moon, collect pictures, photographs, and videos, send back to Earth, and also take those samples and even conduct experiments completely by themselves. So they may not be fully automated at this point of time, but they have a program that they can follow through, which is basically robotics, right? And as you know, in any kind of food packaging industry or supply chain industry, robotic arms or conveyor belt has been used for ages. The only difference right now is more robotics that you bring into the place and add more artificial intelligence into those robotics, they will become even more better as we kind of go forward. As you all know, human race is aging. There are already several countries which are very at the brink of like they're seeing population decline. I have already made couple of podcasts on that aspect as well. So countries such as Japan, Sweden, Russia, Italy, many of the European countries, South Korea, China, because they have aging population and they do not have very good birth rate. So they have already started experiencing that they have low number of people who are below the ages of, let's say, 35 years. So who will take care of these elderly folks, right? So now they are investing in robotics to serve these elderly people, both as an emotional support, So earlier you used to have like a dog or a cat as a service animal who can be emotional support to the elderly people or spend time with them, right? And also help them with certain tasks like moving. Like a lot of disabled people have service animal here in the US, where they can help them like call 911, or give them emotional support, or even like help them in like navigating from one place to another and things like that. But over a period of time, people have started investing in like robots, like I think Akshat mentioned a dog robot. So such kind of robots are existing that will be serving you, so you can interact with them, they will give you the instructions, and those robots will perform those tasks for you, whether it is cleaning. So you might have already seen, like in my own apartment, I have seen they removed the sweeping person who used to come on almost every alternate day to clean the corridors of the apartment. Now they just have a robot that conducts the cleaning. It already has vacuum, it goes and automatically it basically goes through, and then it stops after doing the cleaning. So you can see they are actually removing the manual labor jobs also. Of course, I have not seen that happen in like plumbing or electricity or other kind of areas, but again, less complex jobs such as just cleaning. I mean, cooking, I am not even sure whether you can call it as less complex or more complex. I would say it is at least medium complexity, depending upon how good you are at cooking or not. But then there are robotic arms that are able to do the complete cooking as well, right? They can even like they can knead the like the dough, and then prepare like flatbread out of it, or like cakes out of it. I've seen completely automated process to do that. um, a lot of companies have installed robotics to basically do those kind of things. So as we speak, some of these experiments are already taking shape, right? So autonomous is one which has gone way far ahead than many other industries. But hospitality would be another, wherein hospital and wellness, where older people will be given a like a agent, like a robotic agent that can help them, support them, provide emotional support, as well as do some household chores for them as well. So I would say that AI is here to eat our lunch, and robotics is going to eat our dinner in the next few years. So let's all be prepared to embrace this kind of change, because at the end of the day, all the companies, all the corporates are very much focused on money. So for them, anything that makes money for them, they are going to invest money in that. And this is the forward looking technology where things sooner or later are going to fold into place. And whether it is physical labor job or whether it is cognitive labor job, both jobs are going to be disrupted because of AI and robotics. So make no mistake when people say, I used to tell you that just reading books and physics and things like that, you can become very intelligent and you can do all knowledge based jobs, but AI is going to take away those knowledge based jobs. My counter to that is, even your physical jobs which you thought are safe are no longer going to be safe, because I've quoted enough examples, I've seen enough of those things deployed across industry, that even your physical labor jobs will be taken over by robots, as we look forward to it. So let's prepare for this future that is going to happen. As I said, the more complicated the task, that requires a lot of intuition, it's not cannot be done just by following 1 2 3 steps. Those areas will be much more difficult to be disrupted than which require low cognitive task or low skill level, right? um, Again, as I said, as we look forward, there will always be areas where you will have man and machine working together. There is a possibility in the next, I would say, decade, not in the next 5 years or so, wherein we ourselves augment our own abilities by implanting certain chips in our bodily functions that can maybe lower our cholesterol, or cut away our fat, or improve our neural cells, so that our brain becomes much more functional, and also repair some of the damaging cells like the inflation that we have in our human body, or can stop cancers and things like that. So a lot of research is happening in these areas, and in next decade or so, I think human beings will start having those augmentation with respect to like biochips or bioengineering in our own bodies to make them even much better and looking more healthy, removing of any kind of disease, and reversing aging that we all see as we start gaining, years behind us. So that's the future I'm thinking that is going to happen in the next decade or so. But in the immediate, near future to the middle future, I would say that AI is going to become the operating system of everything. So earlier we used to have operating systems. Now AI itself will become an operating system, because it will impact the knowledge work, it will impact the physical work, it will be the it will be the bridge between the physical and the virtual world. So in the next 10 years, I'm thinking that we will have an amalgamation of digital and physical worlds together. That's the new age we are going to enter into. It is going to create a lot more opportunities also. So people who are intelligent, who can extrapolate their past to apply new knowledge to get into new fields, can upskill themselves and reskill themselves. And how you can do that is read. Reading is very important. Talk to people, observe what is going on. So I am making this podcast right now, there are hundreds and thousands of people doing that as well. I will learn certain thing, maybe I'll say something, you can learn certain things, you can say something. If we exchange these ideas, we will get to learn more things, we can upgrade our knowledge through these means. So Slam, to your point, any product manager or program manager again has to upskill and reskill themselves. There's a lot of content available online. There are multiple courses. If you've seen that is the right way to do it, you can go ahead do that as well. All the major universities offer courses, certifications, master programs, etc., in robotics, AI, things like that, innovation, etc. But I think a low barrier to entry job is to go attend such kind of podcast or search content online. You'll get tons of it to get a basic understanding of how to gain knowledge in these areas, etc. And if you find out that certain certification courses are much more better, you can go ahead and join them as well. So Akshat Rastogi, as you are speaking, I am quite worried about India. We have high population, and imagine that going jobless. It will be pure anarchy if UBS is not implemented. Yeah, you are right. I mean, I am too also pretty much thinking in that direction. But if you see, governments in India are already giving freebies, right? So even though it has not reached that stage just yet, but pretty much all political parties in India are offering freebies, whether it is water or buses or electricity, even free food gains, etc. I think because this is happening so often now since post COVID, pretty much these things are now being given by default. All the people who are of low cognitive ability or come from weaker section of the society will start thinking this as their birthright actually. So I think it will be very difficult for India to move away from these kind of freebies. This will become like a standard. Now every other political party who will come will only going to offer a little bit more than what previous political party was giving, so as to come to power. So you are right. India is sitting on a very big disaster, I would say, at this point of time. And I've made a like a podcast around that as well, about the unemployment, joblessness in India, and the population that we already have. In the future, India population is also taken care of, because it is not going to grow exponentially. It is already at 2.1 mark, which is the replacement level. But existing population is already too high, so we are not able to produce enough number of jobs and abilities for them. So one of my suggestions in that podcast was to send these people outside to other countries which has a very big declining population. So government has to formulate links with like Japan, Korea, China, US, Europe, etc., to formulate a talent ministry. Basically the human resource development ministry that they have, they should build a ministry of talent export, like set up the visa process with these countries, ensure that these people have the good insurance, the medical facilities, train them into that particular language of those countries, the cultural and underpinnings of those countries, set up some centers of skill updation with the embassy of each of these countries in India, in different like cities, so that people from Bihar and UP and every other place, like whosoever are interested, can join these skill development programs, get certified by the government there in collaboration with those countries, and then go on like 2 year contract, 3 year contract to those countries, make some good money, come back to India. And it should all be done not through touts or agents, etc., so that these people will get duped. But government should basically go and basically set up these skill centers, collaborate with these countries, because many countries are facing very big decline in population. India has a lot of youth who are jobless. It can be a match made in heaven if this something like this is done for the population. uh, V man question is, what about process engineering in manufacturing? So process engineering, a lot of companies are already doing, as I said, the supply chain. In fact, you would see robot process automation. All those things are already happening in the industry, including in the manufacturing process as well. In fact, if you see automobile manufacturing, car manufacturing, you should check out the Tesla factory. Every step of the process is fully automated. There is no human intervention how like a Tesla is produced. So I think more and more companies, whether it is Toyota or Honda, any of those companies which are manufacturing these automobiles, the complete assembly line is fully automated. In fact, even the food packaging, the complete line is basically fully automated. Like many of those, you would see they're completely automated right now, so that's already happening. Akshat Rastogi, I have long thoughtful question. YouTube live chat has limitation of text. I will post the question once this video finishes in the comment section. Kindly answer when you have time. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else also wants to, find a post a question, please do. I'll be happy to answer that. Post the session, stops. There is another challenge here. You can only interact with me through text. It would have been so great if if we could have like a video conference, like how you do it on Zoom or things like that. So maybe I'll set up ask me anything session, uh, you know maybe sometime later. If any one of you are interested, you can set up some topics or timelines when you think I should be doing that. I'll set up a like a streamoji session wherein even you guys can join over like a video call, and in live session you can ask me like a direct questions, like online, like a Zoom call. So I think that is possible. We can do that over a period of time. So let me ask another. So V man asks, can we talk about real estate in US? So I already have a couple of podcasts where I have specifically talked about real estate in US. But in a very summary, the commercial real estate in the US is already down 40 to 50% over the last 1 or 2 years. It is continuing to go down because, as I said, um, for whatever it's worth, with all the RTO noises, etc., the real estate in commercial sector, especially in the cities, is no longer the same, as many people still work from home, and then there is this hybrid work kind of an environment. So the occupancy of those offices and retail spaces in the commercial centers have significantly gone down. They have not gone back up to the 2019 levels. So we will continue to see, as mortgage tenure comes to renewal, we'll see a lot of defaults in the commercial real estate. As far as the residential is concerned, as I have talked in numerous other podcasts earlier, that the south of US, the Sun Belt, Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, those kind of areas are already seeing 20 to 25% decline from the peak of 2022, and they'll continue to see further decline. And the inventory levels have risen pretty significantly. Like some places like Austin have are seeing inventory levels like 2x of what it used to be, from like even 2019 level. They have already surpassed the 2019 level, and it's 2x of even that. So I suspect that we can see further decline in these states. So it is quite possible the prices are going to basically start hovering around 2019 levels pretty soon. However, the rest of the US is not operating in the same way, because US is a very diverse market. It's not one homogeneous market. So what is happening in Texas and Florida and um, Arizona and Nevada is not going to replicate across all the US. So each zip code, each demography, geography is very different. So what I can tell you is that like Massachusetts and New York and New Jersey areas are also seeing a decline, but the decline is very minimalistic. It's more around the lines of 5 to 10%. Similarly, on the West Coast, if you see Washington and California, again the decline here is more on the lines of 5 to 10%. But again, like San Francisco can behave very differently from San Jose. Similarly, Seattle can work very differently from East Side, like Bellevue and Redmond and Sammamish areas. So again, each zip code is very different, but overall the inventory is rising. People are losing jobs. Economy is like question mark. It's like a lot of mixed results are coming in. So given what where we stand, there is a possibility that rates will go down further as the inventory continues to rise, as the home sales continues to decline, and mortgage rates remain high. So that's what my prediction is for the coming year. But again, we should see what happens to really see if these results into actual decline or not. But I'm thinking you will see major decline in the sunbelt states, like maybe properties will drop to 40 to 50% down, I'm assuming. But we would see probably 20 to 25% decline at the most, if at all it touches that, in west and the east coast major cities. So that's all from my side today. I hope this was a good session for all of you to prepare yourself for this new year. I wish that you use that learning from this session to upskill yourself, reskill yourself, and rekindle your thoughts, so that you can make the right choices for you, for your family and your friends, and build your career. As I said, AI and robotics will bring immense opportunities, because somebody needs to be there to build such kind of AI systems. Somebody needs to be there to build, these robots as well. So there will be plenty of opportunities for people who have high cognitive ability. So I think my point that I want to make here is, people who are intelligent, who are smart, who can take learnings from whatever is being shared with them, who can conduct their own research and make assumptions and go for it, who have high motivation, are going to be extremely successful. People who need everything spoon fed, people who are dependent upon others, etc., will have a tough time going forward. So that's the truth. So let me read another question. Favorite blog? Not seeing my question. Yeah, I haven't seen your question. Can you please ask your question again? I'm not sure if you're using some curse words or something. I think it automatically uh, you know censors such kind of questions. But if you can write the question again, we'll be more than happy to take it and answer that. But again, as I said, this is a new year. I wanted to share this information, because a lot of people make a new year resolutions and try to follow through it. I would have a I would recommend that all of you, if you can just read what is going on, attend these sessions that are out there, share this with your fellow family, friends, etc., so that each of us can prepare ourselves for the future that is coming. Each of us can basically upskill ourselves, reskill ourselves, and improve our intellectual capability. And to be able to do that, we should eat right, we should sleep right, we should exercise, and spend time with friends and family. I'm a very strong believer of work-life balance, unlike the star worlds of the world, who are pushing 70 hours per week or whatever that their thought process is. But I'm strong believer that if your mind is healthy, if your body is healthy, if your family loves you and you are with them, you can do a lot of wonders. And favorite blog, if you still have your question, please feel free to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up my session if there are no other questions that anyone else has. I hope you enjoy your day, uh, enjoy your holidays. I know a lot of people are on holidays for the next few days, but I hope when you go to join your work again on 6th of January, you go replenished, you have revitalized your body, spend time with your friends and family. If you can, go out and jog, take your families out, eat some good food, sing, dance. I like to do all those things. That is what I also show on my culture blogs, etc. But if there are no further questions, I like to sign off today. I hope this session was interesting for you, and do write to me, let me know what else you want to discuss. Till then, take care, have a nice